Hello everybody and welcome to round 4 of the Novice Racing League GT3 Championship here from Okayama, one of the most well-used circuits in iRacing. Every single driver here, I'm sure, will have done many laps around this circuit. Maybe not, though, in GT3 machinery. Tonight we're reaching the halfway point in our 7-round season as we take on another 2 races, 14 in total. We'll be taking on races 7 and 8 here today. It's myself, Ewan Leary, joined by D. Biggles this time around, as James is off doing something else. So good to have you alongside me, Biggles. We have both, I'm sure, seen the Okayama International Circuit. In fact, everybody who's ever used iRacing will be very familiar around here.
Yeah, absolutely. A classic track, and let's see how these Gladiators and Centaurians tonight can battle their way around this track that a lot of people are very familiar to. First of all, we'll go and check out how this current championship is playing out, Ewan.
Yep, there has actually been a driver promotion for George Metakos, so he's up to 2nd place in Class 1 now, but still behind Tommy Patero, who is the runaway leader this season, although has been, as I say, pegged back a little bit with Metakos now here. Matt Warner is in 3rd, just 7 points in front of Jan Jančić in his Audi. Then it's Ian Knox who rounds out the top 5. 5 points further back is Andrew Pratt, with Jack Ashton in 7th. Hasn't been here since the first round, though, unfortunately. Ben Mitchell, Stefan Clarkman and Alistair Clark round out the top 10, with Peter Ferraro rounding out that 11th position. I'll rattle through the Class 2 standings in a second as well, because qualifying has just come to an end, I believe. Jay Werner is leading here by 16 points out of Hayden Britton, with Nicholas Green only a further point behind. Parker Enquist and Luke Edwards round out the top 5 there, only 31 points off of the championship. It's very much a 3-horse race there, with Jerry Werner very much getting ahead of the rest. So qualifying has just drawn to a close, as you can see. We'll try and get the standings off the screen. That does sometimes happen when qualifying transforms into the race, and we're looking at standings for whatever reason. I don't quite know why, but just have to reset them. So there we go. Before we have a look at the starting grid, as you've seen, qualifying is just drawing to a close, and now we can have a look at where they are all starting this time round. It's Ian Knox who will be on the front, 5th place in the championship, but with a pole position this time round, ahead of Matt Warner, who is in 2nd. He'll be ahead of Jan Jančić, who's alongside Alistair Clark, with Andrew Pratt in 5th place. Tommy Patero is in 6th, and that is the championship leader, losing ground. He will need to make up some position from there. George Metakos only just a 1/4 of a tenth behind him. Stephen Laird is the first of the Class 2 drivers, starting from 8th position. Eric Orton and Hayden Britton round out the top 10, with Luke Edwards and Ben Mitchell then on row 6. It's Tim Whitebrow who is next, ahead of Parker Enquist, who didn't set a time. He did, but Reece Bartlett didn't, though. The New Zealander starting from 15th position at the very back end of the pack. I think the big story there, though, is Tommy Patero starting from 6th position. It is always exciting when a championship leader is forced to make up positions early on in race 1, as I'm sure Tommy Patero is going to have to do here this afternoon.
Yep, a lot of work to do, but there's time to do it, thankfully, on this one. The Heat 1, they'll be starting under the pace car, no doubt, because, it is a Novice Racing League at the moment. You don't want to be risking it for the biscuit too much. They were starting on the standing still, so we'll see how it's going to pan out. Some of the drivers I was reading in the Novice Racer Discord, of course, unfortunately couldn't make it tonight. Events, of course, and family events and things like that do occur. But we will have a grid of 15 drivers, and of course, I have to mention it there, Ewan, but the Italian Formula 1 GP will be on at the same time too. So we'll see how that pans out later on, of course. But we'll be focused tonight on round 4 here.
Yeah, that in your mind, that's very much decreasing the Aussie population of this field based on recent events. So that is also happening.
Australians winning 3 times. In a row. It hasn't been done in a long time, actually. Since Alan Jones got back in the 80s, actually, you'd have to say on that one.
I can believe that, yeah. So we'll look forward to that later, but anyway, let's get on with this race first. We'll see if an Australian can win here. Ian Knox has got on the pole to begin with. It's an all-Mustang front row. The only 2 in the field have locked out the front row, and you get the feeling that might be less than a coincidence. Let's see, though, as Ian Knox is not waiting around. Goodness me, he wasn't waiting to get onto the front straight particularly before he let fly and gets in towards turn 1. comfortably ahead of the rest of the field. Warner in second place with Jančić and Clark next up. Oh, that's Jančić down the inside of Warner in towards turn number 1, and he just about pulls it up in time. Thought they were going to make contact at one stage there, but not quite. Warner keeps the place. Jančić then next in line. Clark is in fourth ahead of Pratt and then Patero. Then it is George Metakos at the back end of the top 7. All of the top 7 places staying the same through the first sector on the first lap.
So far so good. They did take a little bit gingerly through there at the moment, not running any major risks, knowing that we still have a bit of time to go in our Heat 1 race at the moment. A little bit further back you might see a bit of battle brewing there from Ben Mitchell, and who's up 2 places, and Stephen Laird, who's trying to regain that place back up to where he is, gets past Hayden. Not quite yet, actually, still for a go. 2 for 0.
Still side by side, the 2 Class 1 leaders, and Class 2 leaders rather, and that's Hayden Britton, who's got it up into 8th position ahead of Stephen Laird pretty comfortably. As the grabber gets kicked up now as they go through the left-hander onto the straight in towards this final sector now. Oh dear, Hayden Britton there very nearly getting into the back of George Metakos in the Acura, just up in front of him. Laird just in behind next, and then it's Ben Mitchell, as you say, moving up, taking positions, and he needs to as well because he's a Class 1 driver trying to make up places. Every one of the Class 1 drivers is going to score points here today, by the way. There's only 8 of them. Every one of the Class 2 drivers the same because there's 7 of them, so they don't particularly have to worry about that. But plenty of times this season we've seen drivers finishing the race in decent positions and not actually scoring any points because only the top 8 do in this series. So we follow Patero there. Here's Ben Mitchell again, just applying that pressure to the fellow McLaren. On to lap 2 now.
Yeah, I play at the moment, but you can get that McLaren up into winning the race in the class, as you can see on the screen there. Class 1. He's got a bit of work to do, of course. He's kind of set it up the inside at the moment there on Stephen. Couldn't quite make it stick. Stevie still covers off the other McLaren position of P9.
So that was entirely intentional, to be honest.
Yes, he has. Sorry to cut you off there, my friend. Let's go back and have a look.
That's unfortunate for Luke Edwards. Parker Enquist is also into the pit lane here. Don't know whether that's anything to do with what's gone on here. Certainly not anything to do with Luke Edwards, who's just gone for a spin on his own there rather than anything else. Enquist has dropped back, and he will be 15th comfortably down towards the back. But no such problems for these guys. Hayden Britton continues to lead in Class 2, goes a little bit wide there. That's turn 8, the slow hairpin, and this is turn 9, similar slow hairpin for the final run to the line with the 2 right-handers. But Britton is soaking up that pressure so far. He's got a long way to go though. These are 20-minute races, don't forget, in this series.
Apologise. Some of this. Oh, that's a spinner out of the last corner. That's Andrew. And that Porsche is going to see better days. Thankfully, he doesn't wait for too many cars to be able to get back up under speed. But there he goes around. And I still want to go up to the picture there because the Barbie car is on a massive press there from Ken and Stephen, actually down the road there. You know that one, do you?
It's big pressure hit for the lead in Class 2. Side by side again. Laird on the outside, and it's a long way round there, and he's not going to manage that down at turn 4. Then the long run down the straight towards the big braking zone at the end here. This is where things could get interesting for Laird again. He just weaves to the left, or the right there, as he is on the road. The left as we look at it, and he is going down the inside. Oh, that's very late on the brakes. He just about pulls it up in time, but he didn't quite keep the apex. That's fine, though. He gives the space to Hayden Britton, who then got the inside for the next 2 corners. In fact, the next 3 turns, and he only needs one of them to keep that place. Oh. And now there's going to be contact as Ben Mitchell tries to take advantage. He makes side-to-side contact, and he goes into a spin.
I didn't think he could see in his mirrors there, Ben just putting his nose in there, because why not? Ben had the opportunity to do it, because of the fact that the driver going off track and couldn't quite get the traction down on that one. And unfortunately, Ben Mitchell has to drop back to P12.
Yep, that is a real shame for Ben Mitchell, who was moving up through the field quite nicely. Speaking of which, actually, Tommy Patero is doing the same. He's up to 5th now, in behind Alistair Clark. Jan Jančić is just up in front of him in that battle for 3rd position. Audi, then Ferrari in this field. It's so surprising to see this from Patero as well, given the season he's had so far. He's been absolutely dominant, but so far only in 5th place. 6 points awarded, by the way, for 5th place in this series, so he'd lose 9 to Ian Knox as things stand, although that will be less of a concern. He's 35 points in front of Knox at the beginning. Losing points to Warner will be more of a concern. He'll lose 6 to Matt Warner, and that is almost half of his championship advantage, which will be down to 7 as things stand. It's Mustangs 1 and 2, and like I said at the start, I do wonder how much of a role the manufacturer is playing in the dominance of these two Fords at the front right now.
I wouldn't worry too much because Fords are notorious to blow up anyway, so that's all that the rest of the field can need to be worried about. The 2 Audis that are behind there of Jan and Alistair, they can just wait for that. No, obviously, if it's real life, yeah, the Fords will blow up, but of course in the iRacing world, you'd have to blow them up yourself there by driving them a little bit too hard there and short shifting. Not even shifting, really, just over revving it. Not going to happen.
No, it is not going to happen. It's very difficult to blow the engines in these cars. It does take a crash, really, but hopefully we don't see that over the course of this afternoon. As Tommy Patero continues to run in 5th position, just in behind Clark, and the field already getting quite spread out here. Don't forget, we haven't only got the 1 race here this evening. We do have a second coming up a little bit later on. Second race is going to be also 20 minutes, but it's going to be a full reverse grid, and that is going to throw the cat rank amongst the pigeons here in that second race. Going to put some of those drivers who have had issues so far in this race up towards the front. And Andrew Pratt will certainly be eyeing that one. He's currently down in 14th place after that crash we saw and we watched out of the final corner a few laps ago.
Yeah, talk about my first time with this racing league. That's throwing everybody in the big boy club immediately, isn't it? Reverse grids. I mean, that's tough. That's tough business to do. Even some of the best drivers in the world cannot do struggle, of course, to make their thread through the field. Of course, that's what makes you a better driver as well, too, isn't it? Battling it out. You see a little off-track excursion there from Alistair Clark up the road, kicking up a little bit of kitty litter onto the Finnish driver there of Tommy, the Major Esports Racing number 88 Ferrari, who's probably sitting there going, I could be at Imola this weekend.
He's not Italian himself, to be fair, but even so, never mind. He is in that Ferrari as it stands. A good afternoon, by the way, to Steve Webb, who has messaged in YouTube chat. Apologies for his absence this afternoon. He's marshalling at Brands Hatch with the GT Cup this weekend, and so a big thanks to yourself for the marshalling down there, of course. Letting them go racing down there in the south of England as Tommy Patero works his way through on the inside, and Alistair Clark is going to facilitate that move somewhat. Tommy Patero does indeed move up to 4th position, and there is another extra couple of points to him. So a fairly nice and simple move down at turn 1.
Yeah, the Tifosi would be excited about that one, of course, seeing the only Ferrari in the grid up 2 places, currently in P4. And that's you were excused any day of the week if you're marshalling at Brands Hatch, my friend. Absolutely. What an honour to be to Brands Hatch. What a track. Lovely track. It's like a roller coaster in the UK.
I've never been, actually.
No?
Presume you haven't either.
No, I've never. Just virtually. Formula 1 used to race
yes.
as well, too, back in the day. Yeah.
It's a long way away from where you are, but yeah, a great circuit down in the south of England, and yeah, thanks for just popping in as well, by the way, while you're out there. I don't know if he's still watching, but anyway, thanks for popping in. Eric Orchin is closing in on Stephen Laird. In the meantime, Hayden Britton has survived those attacks from that McLaren, and now it's Orchin who is applying the pressure in his Acura, currently on the Class 2 podium. Getting that little bit closer to making another step up on that podium, maybe.
That's all you need to do. Just chip away, make those gains when you can. Maybe even force the other drivers into mistakes as well, too, into this first of the heat races. Of course, it'll be a full reverse grid anyway, so wherever you finish up. It doesn't matter if you're at the back of the field currently at the moment where Parker is, and Andrew, Luke Edwards, Ben Mitchell. You've got an opportunity, of course, in that reverse grid to score a chunk of points. And just to show you that point system quickly, you mentioned it as well too. Remember, there it is there on the right hand side, 15 points for first all the way down to 1 point for 8th, just kind of like the old Formula 1 point system used to work. Similar.
Just a little bit more points for a win than what we used to have. It used to be 10, 8, 6 and then down in ones, right, all the way to 8th. Yeah, I have quite a big memory of that, because obviously that's the point system I first started watching F1 with. But actually, when you look back in the history of time, it actually wasn't around for very long, was it at all, that point system? It was about 5 years.
No, longer than that. Throughout all the 80s and stuff like that. They only changed it to pay out the top 10.
No,
and then
it was 6 before then.
Oh, you might be talking about that short period of time where they did it, yeah.
Yeah, there was a very short period where they did 8, but there was a long time where there was 6, as you say, 6 scorers. I think from about the very start of time to, as you say, about maybe 2000 and something, maybe. But yes, it was a very short period of time. Anyway, we're bringing it back here in this series, as it explains there. You score points on a class system here rather than overall. So these guys, and you can see why the eight guys getting points is scrapped, really, because I mean, imagine if you're Reece Bartlett in this situation here, having a decent race up in 11th right now, but still 3 positions and loads of seconds away from any points at all.
That's what it's all about. You got to get those points when you can, based on the system. Ben Mitchell trying to put a bit of pressure on the moment of Reece Bartlett, who's up 4 positions, you'd have to say, there for the Porsche 03 entry. See if he can maintain the biggest gainer at the moment in this race as well, too. So he's wanting to hold off Ben Mitchell in the McLaren, who's started this race in P12, currently running in P12.
Looking to regain some of those places that he lost in his spin on the side of Stephen Laird earlier on. Laird is also getting closer to Hayden Britton again. These gaps starting to fluctuate around a little bit as the inconsistency starts to show through the middle part of the race. It is so difficult to maintain that, obviously, at even at a circuit like this one, which does keep you very very alert throughout. There's almost always something going on. Straights are very, very short in the grand scheme of things. There is Britton, though, and the look backwards from him. Laird just in behind and trying to apply that pressure for 7th position overall here. And of course, more importantly, for the Class 2 victory as well. But how is he going to be able to work his way through? So far in the first 12 minutes, he's not shown any signs, really, that he's been that threatening.
No, a couple of attacks there, and it's been well defended from Hayden. That's what it's all about at the moment. It's going to be a Lego car as well, too. If you're going to go a Barbie, somebody out there needs to have some Lego. We'll just throw the whole...
Lego,
yes. If you go to any, store, go to a Target or something like that, there you're going to have the Lego aisle, and you're going to have the Barbie aisle right next to each other. You need to see them on the track as well.
That's how I go out to the supermarket, and that's the only shop I go to. To be honest, never mind. Anyway, this is Eric Orchin and Reece Wybrow again. Tim Wybrow rather. Reece Bartlett just in behind him. Then Ben Mitchell as well. 3 in a line here for 10th overall. And Mitchell again getting closer, but it's the run out of 4 that you need, not into it. Mitchell hasn't quite got that in his McLaren for the moment. He's going to just drop back and have to come back through again on a different occasion, but Bartlett still felt the need to defend there down in towards the hairpin. He still just brought the car over to the right-hand side in defence of that position. Now he's going for a spin. And Mitchell couldn't see it coming. Mitchell didn't see it coming. Bartlett goes for a spin. Mitchell goes straight into the back of him. Edwards will pick up the pieces here as there's gravel all over the circuit now. It's Reece Bartlett who goes for the spin, and he might have damage as well. Mitchell certainly does have damage. Oh, that's pretty bad damage as well for Bartlett. He might not even get this back in time. Look at the suspension damage on this Porsche.
Oh, yeah. That is done and dusted. He might have to go back and tow that in pit road, which is perfectly fine. I'd say that you're allowed to do that one when your car is definitely broken. And let's have a look from behind. So it goes for a little bit of a spinneroo here. And then just contact, isn't it? Just hard contact. Nothing he could do from the driver behind. Oh, I'm going to try to find that camera angle here. Slow it down a little bit. There. Just too deep into the corner, isn't it? Just couldn't quite get it slowed down in time.
Mitchell couldn't react.
And Mitchell, of course, yeah, he had, he was on the loud pedal, wasn't he? Absolutely coming out of the corner. He was just like, let's just go.
Maybe he was expecting him to spin to the outside or something, but personally, it's easy for us to say, sitting here watching the replays, knowing that there's going to be a spin, but I can't help but feel like there is a real sort of, I don't know, there's a real time period between the start of the spin there and it actually making contact. I can't help but feel like he could have reacted to that a little bit quicker, maybe.
It's difficult, isn't it? I mean, you have to kind of see him coming. I mean, see that the spin was very late out of the corner, and so at that point, that's when Ben was on the loud pedal. That's when he was already shifting up there. He was already planted. He's in that fight, remember, too, with Reese, so he wanted to get that position. And at that point, you know, once you're on that accelerator pedal on the exit of the corner, then you see that car spinning. I don't think he would have had enough time to be able to do anything. And if he did flick it off to the right-hand side, he would have been out in the kitty litter. It would have been difficult to control that car, too. Lots of what-ifs, Ewan.
Well, yeah, as always in racing, lots of what-ifs. Down the straight again for Jan Jančić and Tommy Patero, who has made up some good places in this race so far. Is just reducing the points deficit to Matt Warner, who is going to gain 4 as things stand. Can he halve that to just 2 with a late overtake here? 4 minutes to go. There's going to be 3 laps to go probably at the end of this one, I would imagine. And Ian Knox is going to be cruising as things stand. But is Patero going to have enough time here to make his move and get back onto the podium? It's going to be close.
Now's the time, if you want to get it done. I'm sure he's aware of it. He's going to try to fawn. He's try to get JJ, really. Force JJ into a mistake there. Force JJ to play all of his Pokemon cards. There it is.
I did notice this delivery, I've got to say, on the Audi. Patero closes a little bit in that Ferrari. Again through turn 1 and 2, and better line through 2 as well. This is even run towards the hairpin at turn 4 maybe for Patero. You don't see moves happen very often here, but he might he might have a chance here. Outside line, late braking in that Ferrari. And, there's a bit of gravel in his way. Oh, and he gets a little bit loose on the gravel there as well. As someone's been off down there, bringing it all back onto the circuit. And it very nearly got that Ferrari out of shape there of Tommy Patero. Here he comes again, though, down in towards the hairpin. He's got a chance to get on the podium, and he's rescued a good result. Here has Tommy Patero. Fantastic drive from him here in race 1 after a bit of a poor qualifying. He was nearly a second off of Ian Knox. He certainly brought that deficit down. He's starting to get into the groove here around this circuit in that Ferrari, and he's now onto the podium.
I don't think this battle's over yet, Ewan. I do not think it's over yet, but to certainly spice and dice this race up here with the front 2 way up the road at the moment there. They should be able to secure that Ian and Matty, as long as they don't make any mistakes. But this is where the blanket is that you want to be throwing over both of these cars, the 88 and the 45.
It is exactly where
and a spin. Oh, don't go moving. Oh.
And he's been hit by Clark as well. He tried to get back going again. That might well fall on Jan Jančić, I'm afraid. And George Metakos is going to gain some positions here as well by the looks of that. And Jančić goes for a spin through the final corner. He tries to rejoin straight into the path of Clark, who has to give up that place to Metakos. And they all might have damage here in the Audi. Yeah, that front right wheel's not even on the ground. Look at that. The front right. Oh, and he can't turn. He can't go to the left because there's no front right wheel there. Look at that. He's gone straight on. And Jan Jančić back to the pit lane.
Just like that. Just like that. You're out of the race there for Jan Jančić. And there it is. Let's go have a look at that one really quickly again on the replay, Ewan. It's just too deep into the corner. Carried too much speed. And then, of course, don't move. That's just rule number 1. Stay predictable. Hit the anchors. Unfortunately, didn't do that. Moved it. And perhaps has damaged George's car. I couldn't quite see. It wasn't Georgia. Who was it? Alistair.
Yeah, Clark. Yeah. That is a real shame. A real shame, because it was a good battle. Jan Jančić was having a decent race, but unfortunately it's all come to nothing in the end, as there are just seconds remaining here, just over 30 seconds remaining. And now Alistair Clark is giving up more places here. Yeah. He is just limping home to a finish, and he's got about 13 seconds over Mitchell. If he just needs to stay out, I think, here, and at least hope he can stay ahead of Mitchell. Don't worry about the Class 2 drivers that are overtaking you, because that's not for position. But never mind, he's coming into the pit lane. He can't continue on with the damage. His suspension damage is quite bad, in fairness, and so he pulls into the pit lane.
If you get in, that would be... I would give it... See, look at the steering. You're supposed to be putting it straight at that point. But good on you, Alistair, for bringing it home into the pit road. that's good practice. Your race is done for the first heat, but you never know. If that's that practice you get for endurance races, isn't it, Ewan? Because if you're in a 12-hour, 24-hour, you want to be able to bring it home if you can. Fair enough, you'll scrub a bit of time, but that goes to show you that you may be able to help the team out later on, because especially endurance races, that's just a little bit of a hiccup in the global scheme of things.
Yeah, exactly. It is good practice, but either way, it's been a bit of a nutritional race out front. Ian Knox, though, has surpassed it all. He's going to finish first ahead of Matt Warner and Tommy Patero by the looks of things here, as long as he can just keep these on the road through the final corners here. He surely should be able to do just that as he now comes through at the final corner. Ian Knox is going to take victory here in the Ford Mustang at Okayama. Great performance from him over the course of this afternoon, and he has taken race 1 victory. Lights to flag as well. Pole position to the race win here in race 1. Matt Warner finishes in second ahead of Tommy Patero. In the background, Hayden Britton is going to hang on to the win in Class 2 by the looks of things, just ahead of Stephen Laird. There are the two of them. A pretty close race between the two as well. But Hayden Britton is the one who hangs on just about for the win and ends up finishing 5th overall as well.
Absolutely fantastic performance there after having to do a lot of defensive work too, which I say is a great sign of a driver. Not just those overtakes that you can do on track, but of course those defensive moves. See some of the drivers are celebrating that. Timmy going to give it a bit of a wave as he goes by. Ben, probably wondering, what if good recovery drive you'd have to say too for Ben Mitchell, Luke Edwards there, and Alistair Clark coming in home. Just Andrew and Parker to come across the line with those retirements of Rice and JJ that you saw before earlier.
It's going to take some time before Enquiries and Bartlett come over the line because they are so far off the back of the field, but they have at least got ahead of Jan Jančić here, these two. Going to finish 6th and 7th in their class, but they will move on up. That will, of course, set them back slightly for the next part of this event because, after all, we are racing reverse grid in a few moments' time. There's no warm-up session between the two either, by the way, so we'll be jumping straight into it here in a couple of moments' time. Just once Enquiries just come over the line, and there you go. So that will be the end of the first session, and there's going to be a big crash there. There you go.
He went for you, Ewan. He went for us up in the booth here. He's like, hey.
Did?
I wasn't happy the way you were talking about when we joined the race. Let's quickly have a look at those results before we start our feature race.
Yeah, we'll look at the results and we'll stay away from the starting grid, because it's effectively just a reversal of these finishing positions. It is Ian Knox who finishes first, ahead of Matt Warner by 1.7 in the end. A pretty consistent drive for the two of them, finishing in the Mustangs. Tommy Patero rounds off those on the podium. George Metakos and Hayden Britton round out the top 5, but Britton has taken the Class 2 victory, just ahead of Stephen Laird. Eric Orchin on the Class 2 podium. Tim Whitebrow, Ben Mitchell and Luke Edwards round out the top 10, with Alistair Clark just outside of it. Then Andrew Pratt, the last driver within a minute of the win. Parker Enquiries, the last driver on the lead lap. Jan Jančić and Rhys Bartlett were 14th and 15th at the end. And as I say, it's effectively a reversal of that for race number 2, and they're already gridding up down on the back straight. I think out of the drivers who are going to start towards the front here, Jan Jančić probably got the best chance. He did get involved in that incident as he spun through the final corner, yes, in that race one, that is true. However, he did show fantastic speed, and the fact he's starting on the front row here is going to be a big help to him.
We'll see how it pans out. Who's your pick? And let us know in the chat there for the feature race win. Your pick there, Ewan.
I'm going with Jančić, for those reasons. I think he's probably quickest of those around him, to be honest. And those four at the back, especially those other Class 1 drivers, it's going to take them a while to get past, and I think Jančić could have quite a lead by the time that they do get past and up into those top positions.
Well, we'll see how it pans out. He's got to get the Kiwi off the start. So I think it's Czech Republic of JJ versus the Kiwi, if I'm not mistaken there. And then you've got the Aussie of Andrew and Parker from the United States of America will be out your two front rows to keep an eye on. Let's see if they can handle all the shenanigans usually of lap 1, Ewan.
There's normally plenty of them, so let's wait and see what happens this time. Although, to be fair, race 1 was very well behaved. among all the drivers. So there you go. Pace car now pulls in and slides its way into the pit lanes. It so often does these days. And we'll see how long Reece Bartlett leaves this until he gets going, because Ian Knox didn't wait very long, and neither does Bartlett, although I think the top guys were expecting it a bit more this time round based on race 1. It does mean the field a lot more stretched out on the way towards turn 1, as you can see, but in the background it's 3 and maybe 4 wide in the background. Goodness me, that is all for 10th position, and off Bartlett straight in towards turn 1, straight off the circuit in towards turn 1 as well. That is a real shame for him. He started from the front. He had a great chance to at least lead for a little while, but he's thrown it away immediately, and he's spun, and Stephen Laird now has made contact with him here. Bartlett and Laird down to the back of the field, and they've had an incident on that one.
That's very unfortunate. We'll go back and actually look at that replay in a little bit, because there is some live action I don't want to miss, and that's in the midfield action at the moment there with Tommy, Tim, and George, who's made that recent change up into the top split, Class 1. Whoa.
He has down the inside for George Metakos. No, not quite. He was looking around on Wybrow there, but Tommy Patera has made his way up into 9th already, and this is why he's built such a good season for himself so far, because he's been so good in the reverse grid races at making his way through the field more efficiently than the others. Clark on the inside of Pratt here, and these two are going to be ones to watch in this race. Late braking as well, down in towards turn 8.
Oh.
It's all happening out there at the moment. Big slide for Clark, and there goes Pratt down the inside in the Porsche. Ben Mitchell will be looking for a move here as well. It's very, very busy coming to the end of lap 1.
Yeah, he's still managing to hold on, isn't he, Ben, after just getting that power down there, but he's going to have to try to hold off from the inside there of Hayden. Luke Edwards a little bit further back in the field there. Goes off into the kitty litter as well, too, as the pink machine there of the Barbie. It's flashing little headlights all crazy. I'm not quite sure what they're trying to indicate, my friend, as they're going a little deep into this corner.
Oh dear, it's all happening. Absolutely all happening. The two Mustangs were briefly side by side as well, but they've got it sorted out. Inside for Orchin on Patero. Oh, they go behind the grass bank, and Orchin has to back out of it, and straight through actually goes Patero. So sorry, Orchin was on the inside of Edwards, I should say, and Patero slips through. Wybrow now down the inside of Orchin as well. Here comes Warner down the inside of George Metakos. Ian Knox just blocked a little bit by that with the big Mustang in the way. And they're all still side by side. This is right towards the back end of the field here. Still the top guys trying to work their way through the field. It's proving to be difficult so far on lap number 2. On the brakes they'll go. This is further up, by the way. Enquiries still holds on to second place ahead of Pratt. He's able to do that. Metakos and Warner go side by side. Knox gets past Orchin, who's now down to the back and down to 13th position. Goodness me, this is a very, very lively second race.
Yeah, a lot of switcheroos happening at the front at the moment, while JJ is still pulling away from this field, actually. 4 seconds up the road. Your prediction very much may come true there for the Czech driver. Just blowing everybody away once getting that reverse grid advantage situation in the feature race.
Yeah, he is absolutely blowing everybody away
George
out the water
off
right
too,
now.
My friend. We'll go back and have a look at the replay of that one. Sorry to cut you off there. Yeah.
Right, yeah, side by side in the meantime between Mitchell and Clark, who's going backwards here. Hayden Britton's going to get past Clark as well, and he's going to fancy his chances of a Class 2 victory. Goodness me.
That's too
big down the inside. Huge from Edwards. And there's a spin in front of them here for Enquist. And there's Ben Mitchell, who goes around as well. It's all happening out there at the moment. Patero moves up to 4th position. Mitchell very nearly slides straight into Bartlett, who picks up all the pieces here. Taro up to 4th position. These guys all slip through. Despite the fact Warner and Wybrow are going side by side. Oh, and it's free wide. Contact into turn 4. A big, brave move from race 1 winner Ian Knox. And he does get through into 5th place.
Wow. I was going to say 3 into 1 was not going to work. It didn't quite. Somehow, I don't know, it did. They were pointing in the right direction, Ewan, somehow. But what a move there from Ian. That's a late send. Very questionable, you'd have to say. But, I mean, literally taking Ayrton Senna's quote there, F-gap car, to the limit.
Did, yeah. That was quite extraordinary to watch down there as they all battled their way towards turn 4. How Ian Knox found himself down the inside of 3 and making that work. They all continue to point in the right way. I've got no idea. Hayden Britton gets down the inside of Tim Wybrow. In the meantime, was involved in that kerfuffle at turn 1 that we'll go back and have a look at when it all calms down here. George Metakos had a problem, but because of those issues that happened after his issue, he's benefited. And now Tim Wybrow has gone for a bit of a slide off the corner, and he's down to 11th.
Yeah, it just went a little bit too on the loud pedal as they're just throwing these cars around. Look, and that's
Clark.
Clark, yep, on the exit again. That's the hot spot. That's where you want to get the tickets. Oh, Luke Edwards has gone around as well.
Oh, wow. Edwards now. He was leading in Class 2 as well, and he's missing his whole front end, is he, there in the McLaren? Or am I seeing that wrong? Not sure.
No, the whole front end's all dinged out. That will not buff out.
Okay. Well, Eric Orchin is now leading in Class 2, ahead of Hayden Britton in the background. You can see that. Britton looking down the inside, and he's going through down on the inside at Turn 4. That is easy as you like for Hayden Britton, nearly. Metakos just in behind. Then it's Ian Knox versus Matt Warner, side by side down the straight. This is fantastic racing at the moment in this second race of the day. But what else would you expect? Here he comes down the inside. Matt Warner through into 4th position. Britton also through into 6th position, but more importantly, the Class 2 lead.
All this is helping JJ up the road there. 6 seconds and change now over Andrew in that P2 position, Tommy in P3. All these drivers, believe it or not, there. Tommy up 10. Maddie up 10. As well as Ian currently in the pictures up 10 in a feature race. And that's, of course, having to slice your dice through all those incidents that happened earlier.
This is it's pretty extraordinary, really, this first part of the race. Metakos is currently 6th in class, but he's got a couple of Class 2 drivers in front of him before he can actually start making up some overall positions here. Look at the gravel there. So much trouble so far today. The gravel is all over the final corner, and it'll be all over through Turn 1 here as well, as Metakos looks to the outside. A half defence from Orchin. Watch out for the gravel. Where is it all? Yeah, there you go. You can see it dotted around. Not quite as bad as the last corner, actually, but I do love the way that iRacing brings gravel onto the circuit now. It's so much more realistic than it used to be, especially when the most recent update was put up there. Initially, it was smoke everywhere and it looked ridiculous. In the past, it sort of appeared there without anybody going off as well many years ago. Now it's a brilliant system where stones and rocks and all sorts brought onto the circuit.
Yeah, iRacing in the last year and change have really picked up the game, haven't they, with the physics there of all the stones and gravel and that sort of stuff you mentioned, of course, of the rain elements that they've added to. It's there's a lot. I mean, we did have a little bit of a pause between the years there, and kind of everybody was kind of wondering, hey, what are you guys doing there in the sheds at the back there of your programmers? That's what they've been doing. It took a bit of time to do, but if you want things done right, you don't rush in. Exactly,
and I think they've got rain correct, even though we've been waiting about 10 years for it. And they've got this gravel situation correct, I think, now as well, although it did take quite a long time of perfecting as well. Of course, we've also had this Acura into the sim for not too long away either. Currently being used by Orchin and Metakos for their battle, although Metakos didn't have a very good run through the final corner there on that occasion. I wonder if there's any replays you want to go back and have a look at now that it's just calmed down just for a moment, because there were a few moments there where it was carnage.
Dropped a place as well. So we're going to have to look at that one. This is the lap 1. This is just out. That's Ross just going completely too deep into turn 1, because he was a leader going into turn 1, so he just misjudged that braking point completely. And then drops from the penthouse to the outhouse.
So that was the second bit of contact with
Ian's dropped back
as well.
down
That's
now.
how.
So just recently, this is what's happened to Ian.
Oh, he's got rear left damage. He's got rear left damage for sure as well. The suspension's out of whack there, so he's clearly made. Oh dear, it's already out of whack. What has gone on there? He has spun there at turn 1, but look at the rear left suspension there. That is completely out of shape. And I don't know how that's happened, because I didn't think he was anywhere near anybody else to actually have that kind of thing happen. And there you go, sliding. Yeah. He's going to be sliding all his way down to pit lane, I think.
Yeah, just wanted to quickly see if I can have a look at the... Can I find it? The cockpit, the silver steering and stuff like that as well too. Anyway, that was the situation with Ian. But believe it or not, he's still up 5 places, but he's probably going to see... you can see it's absolutely smashed. That thing is going to be a handle to the drive.
It's going to be still on the racetrack though. Fox is going to continue on, race 1 winner. Here's Tommy Patero looking for second place. With 10 minutes to go, he's got an outside chance of a win as well. The stones are all over the place now. Knox has brought even more back onto the circuit again as they now come down towards turn 4, these two. Pratt super close to Patero here, and he's going to go through. Patero's going to go through on the inside line, and that is an easy path for Toy Patero. He should have the legs in a straight line as well. We know the Porsche is not so strong in a straight line, and there you go. The Ferrari is going to roar on past. Toy Patero is going to be up to second place in class and overall, but whether he can catch the 8.5 seconds out to Jan Jančić, I'm not sure.
That'll be the question now. He's got the clean air. He did set the fastest lap on the last lap, but you're only talking about 2/10, 3/10 really over JJ, so it's not going to be enough. Let's have a look at Stephen in earlier in this at lap 1, I believe it was. Yep. See, Stevie's just had a moment now. There it is. He was already at the back of the field at that point too, wasn't he? This is George on lap 2.
So George was able to avoid the real pile-up at turn 1 that happened at the start of the next lap because of this. Oh, he just missed his braking point completely and went off into the gravel bit.
Yeah, and this is Parker on lap 3 as he goes behind the cameras into the trailer.
Yeah, so have a look at all this. Parker hits the back of Pratt, and then he's into Mitchell. And have a look at that. Everybody has to dive everywhere. The two Mustangs already side by side, almost just about squeaked through. Mitchell very nearly hit Reece Bartlett coming back onto the circuit as well. It was all a big mess down there at turn 1.
This is it again. That's that send, isn't it? In the background there, as Ben just trying to avoid the carnage, spins him around. It was still continuing for a lot of action that was happening as well. We have quite a bit on this. Is Rice as well too, just not having the best of days there. Alistair Clark, let's have a look at lap 3. Was that? There's so much to look at here, there you are.
Yeah, there is.
That's
a solo spin.
Final turn. That's been catching everybody off guard. Back up to the action. Speaking of George, he's trying to fight his way past the number 12 of Eric.
Still trying to get himself through on Eric Orchin here. Not going to give him any extra points, but it might give him the chance to gain some places if there's problems up ahead. So he'll be looking to make this move if he possibly can. Closest to Tory Patero at the start of the day in the championship, but he might well drop to 3rd at the end of the day, and that's a very well executed move. Waited for Orchin to just go offline, get on the hop there, and he goes down the inside, Metakos, through into 6th place overall. And Eric Orchin goes for a spin.
Another one in the final corner, isn't it? It's been catching everybody off guard. There's no kitty litter or anything on there, but he's going to have to wait for a few drivers. Oh, that's it. Just a little bit too greedy. Kicked up more kitty litter. Now, that corner's already as dangerous as it is right now for the drivers catching him off guard. Now, you've got a whole bunch of marbles and stuff like that. Well, stones, everything. Whoa, we've got contact out of that very corner.
It's Ben Mitchell making contact with Tim Wybrow in the Porsche. And Mitchell goes off the road. At least I think it is. Yeah, it is Tim Wybrow. So how does this all start? Does the Porsche get a bit loose, maybe?
Yeah.
Yes, it does. Oh, for the second race in a row, somebody spun straight in front of Tim Wybrow. In front of Ben Mitchell, I should say.
That corner, that's just a hot zone. I was wondering why Hayden up the moment there. Hayden Britton was just flashing his lights consecutively there before, but somebody's gone off up the road there as well, so it looked like it might have been from the other part of the track. But I was just wondering why Hayden was flickering his lights all over the place, because Matt's up the road there. I think he was wondering if Matt can see that. But Hayden was flashing his lights earlier as well too for the number 4 Porsche.
Yeah. That's been sort of happy to flash his lights so far today, and I'm not entirely sure why. He wouldn't have been flashing his lights at Warner, but it might have been at the lap car just up in front of them. The next McLaren in line up ahead here is not on their lap. I think it's Edwards who is currently running last in the field. There's all the stones that brought onto the circuit by Orchin, but that's mostly off the racing line now. As you say, the final corner is difficult enough without having to swerve all of the gravel that's on the racetrack there. 6 minutes to go, and I've got to say this second race has absolutely flown by. It's been packed full of action.
This was the incident. This is another incident with Parker, who's currently running back in P13. And you can see there's already aero damage there anyway, isn't there? Unfortunately for the number 24. that might be very close to being a retirement. George is looking to do his absolute best here to recover on this place, but we've seen Hayden do some fantastic defensive driving before. Will we see it all over again here in our feature race?
Well, Metcalf is still applying the pressure here in that battle for the top 5 positions, and now he won't be. Oh, wow, good save. I thought for sure he was going around, but that was a good save through turn 6. A correction of the slide, and he gets away with that. Hayden Britton will keep his position in the 5th place, but he will still have George Metcalf right in behind him there after that big slide through turn 6. And, well, he'll continue to do what he has been. This is Clark in the meantime, trying to get past Tim Wybrow. These are both battles, though, for positions that are between 2 drivers, not in the same class, though, of course. Here comes Warner, though, who is battling with someone in his class, looking for a late podium here at the expense of Andrew Pratt.
What can Maddie do? If you look at the lap times, they're doing 29.9s, 29.7, so 30.4s and 30 flats in the last lap, actually. Ooh. He's putting his nose in, and he says, okay, I'm committing to the corner. No fight from Andrew. No fight whatsoever from Andrew.
Perhaps a tad bit surprising he didn't put up more of a fight there, but you can't blame him too much in the end. He is on borrowed time there, and George Metcalf now does finally make his way through into the top 5 as well. So 2 of those battles we've been following for some time now finally get reversed. Looks like Clark is going to do the same with Wybrow, although Knox has been in the wall. Race 1 winner Ian Knox has been in the wall hard, and you can see that with the damage to the front end of that Mustang. Here comes Clark inside of 3 wide. Is it going to work out? They do just about squeeze through. That could have been a lot worse, though. Wybrow's got the best exit of them all onto the back straight, and he will power through into 7th. Just in front of Clark, and certainly in front of Ian Knox, who's had a pretty miserable second race after his victory in the first.
You can see the visible speed difference, isn't it, between Ian. He because of that downforce that he's severely lost. You can see he just tries to put the power down the exit there, just the rear end goes around. He's got the speed in the corner, but unfortunately straight line speed is going to murder him at the moment. But hopefully these 2 drivers don't murder each other out on the track there. Battle for P7.
Well, it was pretty easy for Clark, and that's 2 places in pretty quick succession for the driver of that Audi as well. He'll be very pleased with that. Wybrow will now just look to hold on from Knox. Then Bartlett and Orchard are not too far behind either. This is what happened, though, to Ian Knox. He's already got rear left suspension damage, as we've spoken about before. He's now just got a bit greedy on the power and smacked the wall at turn 2.
All came out and bit him. We'll put that wall on report later on, of course. How dare it come out and attack the Ian Knox's number 27 Ford Mustang. Will Hayden fight this one back with George? I believe so. I did see that pass before.
Maybe.
Didn't see Hayden go off the track at all as well too. It just seemed a little bit too easy after Hayden did all that fantastic defensive work into our first heat race.
It's not for the class position, so I'm not sure he'll be too concerned about it. And he has had a very good day now, Hayden Britton. He'll gain on Jerry Werner, who's not here by a long way. He'll be 14 points in front of him now, as Knox is still struggling. He's now going to lose out to Bartlett and Orchin in turn 5. Inside line for Orchin, and he's going to go through here. Knox still on the inside, though. Got to be careful. Side by side running with a damaged car is very dangerous, but Orchin gets away with that. And Knox keeps the position for now in 10th place. Good exit, though, from Orchin. He will get back down the inside now on the way towards turn number 8. And he will finally get through, surely. Can he shut the door now?
Oh,
no, not quite.
No!
Oh, no, he can't. And Orchin goes around.
Fighting with him. You'd have to get... Ian was just driving the pants off that machine, wasn't he? Like, there was nothing wrong with it. Ian was just trying to defend the best he could with a damaged, wounded car. But there's space there allowed. You'll see it again. You won't see any contact as far as I know. No. It's just Eric just a little bit too much into the corner there. The rear end's going around on him. And Ian will say, well, that battling has paid off. He didn't just get that position over easily. He is in P10. 5 positions still gained in this race. And with that car that's absolutely damaged, yeah, it's a good drive. Get that for your Netflix special. There's your drive to survive right there.
He's done a good job to soldier on to the end, but I still think he's going to finish last in the Class 1 race, to be honest, with Mitchell only a second or so behind. 30 seconds to go, and Jan Jančić has got just one lap to go at the end of this one. It's been a very comfortable drive for him. He took the lead through turn 1 when we saw Reece Bartlett go too deep in towards turn 1. It was on the very first lap. He took the lead then, did Jančić, and he hasn't looked back since then.
No, as your prediction. Had the speed in the heat race as well. Just couldn't quite make it stick when they had that little bit of a moment there for the Czech driver. But no problems on this race. Once he got the lead, he maintained that lead. 5.6 second gap there. Tommy couldn't quite hunt him down at the end, could he, for the Ferrari driver once he got past Matt. So he'll have to settle in for that P2.
Yep. It's going to have to be second, but it's going to be pretty much even with Matt Warner at the end of the day. They started the day 13 points apart in the championship. They will continue that with 3 rounds to go. It's still going to be close between the two of them, but Patero is going to keep the championship lead by the looks of things. Jan Jančić is not going to get much closer with this. He's going to stay 4th in the standings. He might even move up ahead of George Metakos, although that's going to be decided. They're certainly going to get closer in that battle for 3rd, but Metakos may well lose his 2nd place in the championship as a result of today's finishing positions. In his first race, of course, in Group 1 after being promoted. Final few corners, though, for Jančić as Mitchell does get through on Knox. It's a physical battle as well that we'll get back to on the run towards the line, because Jan Jančić is coming through the final turn, and it's going to be a victory for the Czech driver. Fantastic win it is. Reverse grid race here at Okayama goes to the Audi. Pretty comfortably so as well. Further behind, Hayden Britton's got past George Metakos, and that's a mistake from Metakos at the very end. It's not going to cost him any class positions, though, by the looks of it. He's just gone for a spin through turn 8 on his own. So Hayden Britton's going to come through in the background here, and he's going to win in Group 2 for the 2nd time this afternoon. Both races go to him as he takes the Group 2 championship lead.
Yep, celebration and on that one. George, well, that P6 position. Alex a little bit further down. A lot of these wounded cars coming through. You can see the visible damage on some of these cars too, as they're just going to limp their way home here. Oh, Alistair Clark. There's Tim further back in the field here. He'll be approaching around the final corner. The dangerous corner, the hot zone that's been in this race. And closely there with Rice and Ben behind them. And there's Eric. Ian has already retired. Driving in the pit load there at the moment with that damage. Just want to see what happened on that final lap as well too. With the incidents between these drivers here. This is...
this is just after the line.
Yeah, that's it. There, no, it was George here. This is the incident.
Yeah, here we go. So he was running inside the top 5 here, George Metakos, but he lost it on the very last lap. He had trouble braking in time for turn 8 earlier, but this time it was just a spin through the corner.
Yep, that's what gave up that position to Hayden. Eventually got that back in that battle they had earlier. There we have it.
Yep, so that's the end of that. The second race here at Okayama. A good evening of racing here at the Novice Racer GT3 Championship, that is for sure. Another win, though, for Jan Jančić, the first win of the afternoon indeed for him. Tommy Patero finishes in 2nd, Matt Warner in 3rd. They will stay still 13 points apart in the championship as they were at the start of today. Andrew Pratt finished 4th, ahead of AM winner, or Group 2 winner I should say, Hayden Britton, who rounds out the top 5. George Metakos just lost that at the end, as we just saw. Alistair Clark got ahead of Tim Wybrow by about 9 seconds. Wybrow just beating Reece Bartlett, Ben Mitchell and Eric Orchin. Pretty close over the line for those guys. Stephen Laird was next in line. He finished just over a minute off the lead, along with Parker Enquist and Ian Knox, who came in the pit lane on the last lap. Luke Edwards was 1 lap down at the end as well. Well, that'll just about be it for us here this afternoon in the Novice Racer GT3 Championship. It's a fantastic bit of racing, I've got to say. Race 1, of course, as you'd expect, the qualifying positions very much won out to how they ended up, as you can see here. But race 2 was absolute madness from start to finish, and very enjoyable second race.
Yes, it was. It's the first time I've had the pleasure of broadcasting this race, and in for James, who couldn't make it here this evening. But we've worked together before in the past, Ewan, and it's always a pleasure working with you again.
It's been great to be here once again for the Novice Racer GT3 Championship here from Okayama. Big thanks to everyone who's been tuned in over the course of this afternoon. As As I say, I've been Ewan O'Leary alongside Dean Biggles. We'll be back in 1 week's time for the next round at Road Atlanta. Same time, same place here next week. But from all of us here from Okayama for now, it's goodbye.